Are you ready for the Low Blows Network? Every Wednesday on the Low Blows Network, the Low Blows team are at hand to break down, analyze, and make fun of all things pro wrestling. Hosted by former pro wrestler Rick Nash. I think the only reasonable thing we can do now is turn John Cena heel.
Selfie with me fucking Doug.
Banned from Nigeria. I will be talking to the government tomorrow morning. YouTube star Corporate King.
This elephant has 4 legs. Joe Russell's 4 legs. Joseph Stalin, if he had 2 more legs.
Bonesaw rips off his shirt, yeah, and it says, "Chuck your law, big dirty tricolor."
And the Queen of Irish Wrestling, Katie Harvey.
I won't want to sign just CM Punk.
So embarrassed. CM Punk.
It's Low Blows. Bada bing and congratulations to all involved as The Sopranos turned 20 this week, celebrating the anniversary of, for my money, the greatest television show of all time. Yes, I am including Raw in there, though I'm not necessarily, I'm holding off till the Courage to the TV show on RTE. You know, maybe we might be up there with Sopranos one day. But congratulations to The Sopranos, turned 20 this week, iconic, changed the game for television. And many people's favourite show to this day. But as we get kicked off, on another edition of Low Blows 220, that feels significant for some reason. It feels like something at least worth saying. Is the number 220 significant? I feel that that's...
No.
Especially, no, it's not.
I couldn't even think of a smart answer there.
just a regular week then. On Low Blows, Rick Nash, Katie Harvey, Corporate Key in the house. Guys, what wrestling ending, much like The Sopranos, left you most confused?
I'm going back a few years. I'm probably not remembering it correctly, but do you remember the Hardys when they sort of turned on each other?
Yeah.
Like, they just sort of turned, and like, I think it was Matt turning on Jeff and Lita, and then it sort of looked like Lita was going to have an affair with Jeff, and then it just all got a bit weird, and then it ended and they won the tag titles. Yes. And I was just really confused by it, and then I read her book years later, and basically the idea was that they wanted her to have a full-blown affair with Jeff on screen, like kissing him and stuff, and she's like, oh my god, I could never cheat on Matt. She's actually my favourite wrestler. I don't know why I gave her that shade. But that's why it was scrapped like halfway through, because they just didn't feel comfortable about it, and like people didn't want to see Matt and Jeff fight because they're such a deadly team. But yeah, watching that left me very confused because I didn't really know what was happening. Interesting.
I want to go back to the Great American Bash. I think it was 2004. The Undertaker was, for some reason, in a handicap match with the Dudley Boys in the main event, and the stipulation of this match was that Paul Bearer, of all like the bad Undertaker Paul Bearer angles, Paul Bearer was like in a container filled with cement up to his knees, but if the Dudleys won, they got to pull the container, they got to pull the cement down and bury Paul Bearer in cement. Then the Undertaker ended up winning the match, so we're like, oh yeah, the good guy won and Paul Bearer doesn't die, but like, seems elaborate for nothing happening. Then the Undertaker went down, and then, like, pulled us, he said, like, I'm sorry, Paul, I have to do this, or whatever, something dramatic and Undertaker-y, and then pulled it down and killed Paul Bearer himself, and it was just never brought up again. It was just never mentioned, like, it was just like, and like, you're like, oh my god, they just turned the Undertaker heel, like, that was a weird way to do it, but like, no, you're still a babyface. Next time it was like, keep rolling, it's like, what is going on? Why is this? And then, yeah, I think Paul Bearer just returned to TV then, like, a year or so later.
Right, so did either of you watch TNA in 2013?
No.
Can't remember.
Absolutely not.
I imagine that most people weren't watching TNA in 2013. I wasn't watching TNA in 2013. I saw it on YouTube years later, and it's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. So when I say to you, what is the most significant date in pro wrestling history, what's your answer to that? Exactly. It's August 1st, 2013. Because this is when we got the payoff for something that TNA were hyping for quite a while, I'm guessing. the August 1 warning. So,
Oh God.
do you remember the Aces and Eights?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Main Event Mafia?
Yeah.
They were scrapping it out. They had a brawl. It wasn't a match. It was just a brawl in the ring. It was at the end of the show. And then at the end of it, Main Event Mafia were in the ring. And then the Aces and Eights were just outside the ring. And then up on the screen, August 1 warning comes out. It is a superstar, a legend, a fucking, I don't even know what, a god of sorts. He comes out. And it's Tito Ortiz. So, for those of you who don't know who that is, it's a MMA guy. He was actually really good in 2002.
Right.
And he came out, and this is where it gets even better. He comes out, does he run to the ring and beat people up? Does he, make threats? Does he point? Does he do anything? He walks out onto the ramp, right? Folds his arms, stands still, and has a look on his face of just... nothing. Like, he's not angry, he's not trying to attack anyone, he's not even smug, like, haha, guess who's here? No, he's standing there, blankly staring in the distance, as if he's trying to decide what to order from the chipper or something like that. Like, he's just standing there, just looking in, like, right? And then they're looking at him, just like it's like the wrestlers didn't even know what was happening. Yeah. It was like, you had Mr. Kennedy on the outside, who's like, I'm kind of disappointed by this, I think. I'll put my hands on my head and go, oh. And then, like, yeah, the Main Event Mafia in the ring talking to each other. So they were kind of like, oh, this is alright, I suppose. Yeah, this is alright. The fans didn't know who the fuck he was. The fans had zero reaction whatsoever. His theme music was shit. It sounded like something of a bad porn or something. It was just the absolute. And the best part was, it was just like, you could tell that TNA thought this would be like bringing in McGregor in 2019.
Yeah,
like as far as they were concerned, this is going to be massive. He's going to get an earth-shattering pop. It's going to cause an earthquake down in Chile or some shit. Like, it's going to be so loud. And he comes out and it's just nothing. And then it's like, but it didn't just end. It was like, there was like camera cuts. It would cut to wrestlers, and it would cut to Tito, and it would cut to wrestlers, and nothing was changing. They're just looking at each other like. You can't see me because it's a podcast. I'm blankly looking in the distance, and it just cut from person to person for a good minute. And I know that doesn't sound like a long time. That's a very long time.
Yeah.
A minute of just
on TV.
Of nothing. And in my opinion, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. And I'm glad I've been given the opportunity to mention it on this podcast, because it's been in my head for a very long time.
If we're talking about date-related stuff, do you remember the payoff to May 19th?
Was there a payoff?
Yeah, like
that used to scare me when I was younger. I remember I had a friend who threatened to say May 19th, and I'd proper fight him out, like, don't say it, please don't say it.
It was a really well built angle. Like, so for anyone who didn't watch around the time, Kane had See No Evil, I think it was the reason that they were hyping this. And like that was coming out on May 19th, whatever year it was.
Oh fuck, was that it?
Yeah, that was it. So they wanted to get it into people's head, and it was a really effective marketing campaign, because they're like, you don't want to know what happens on May 19th, and we're like, the closer Kane gets to May 19th, the more crazy he gets. And it was like the last great Kane angle. And then like, I remember he was on Raw, but SmackDown was on May 19th, and then like whoever the GM was, he wanted to punish Rey Mysterio. And then he's just like, so you're going to have a match now, and oh, by the way, it's May 19th. And then Kane came out, and you're like, holy fuck, he's going to die. It was really well done. But then afterwards, they realized, oh, we have to do something about this. We were just hyping the movie, like, we have to do something. So then they just randomly had a second Kane debut at the next pay-per-view. They had a fight, and the second random Kane just beat up, and he was in Kane's old gear, beat the shit out of normal Kane, and then fucking... At the next night, it just went so badly, the crowd, no reaction for it, that Kane just came back the next night, beat up new Kane, and then just threw him out a door, and he was never seen again. And that was the end of it. It was just completely dumped out of. Much like the Braun Strowman title shot, which we will discuss later on Low Blows, because big developments in the wrestling world, specifically Irish wrestling. The Irish are taking over wrestling again. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to be discussing NXT UK. We're going to be discussing Fight Factory at the weekend, of course. But first, we're going to get kicked off. Oh, and there's going to be a brand new edition of Queen versus Keen. All I'll say is, it's DM related. That's all I'll tell you, guys. That's still to come. I'm really looking forward to this one. But before we get kicked off, we're going to give you our summaries and hot takes of what we think of the news this week. We're going to pick the stories that we do and give a rant, a hard-boiled rant that we haven't thought that much about, if we're being perfectly honest. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get it kicked off with the news for this week, because it's time for Hot Takes. New perky jingle doesn't work with the theme of the segment, so that's my hot take for this week. No, I'm going to start off what I think will be a running theme on hot takes from me anyway, because it's something that really winds me up, and that's wrestler gaslighting. It's like, if you don't know what gaslighting means, it's when someone like tries to make you feel like you're crazy for feeling a perfectly normal human emotion. This is the Tomassso Ciampa edition, and I don't want to go too hard on him because I realize he's probably just working heel here, but he is bringing up something which grinds my gears, so to speak. He put out a tweet earlier in the week where he said, "Dear artists, if you want me to credit you with an @ when posting your photo, then I want you to handwrite me a letter requesting permission to paint/draw/use my likeness. P.S. Your artwork is already watermarked. PSS. Wait, it's PPS. I'm adding that to my hot take. It's not PSS, it's PPS. Your hurt feelings hurt my head." Now, again, not having to go with Ciampa for this. Again, he's just working. He's doing an effective Twitter heel thing. I don't mind Ciampa specifically. But it does bother me when wrestlers don't credit the people because... especially like the likes of Jade and people who work very hard on their artwork and so on, and then wrestlers will just kind of whip it and put it up and not kind of give any credit. It does annoy me that, because it's like, that artist, you could make their day and you could give them 1,000 followers just by giving them one @ It's a small gesture to do so, and just taking with their work and kind of passing it off as your own. Or passing it off as like, this is the thing that I made. I don't like when I see that, personally. I think it's just classy to, help out these people. There's more to the wrestling business than just wrestlers, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people who work hardly behind the scenes. There's a lot of fans who are really talented and can offer stuff to the scene, and they deserve kind of, if you're going to use their work, then put it out. I don't accept this, you're using my likeness and making money off, because the fans probably aren't making any money off it. They probably just are doing it for the sake of showing the wrestler, and they think it's cool that the wrestler likes it, and that's their payoff. But at the same time, I think it's just classy, and I'm not a fan. However, I'm also not a wrestler. So, Katie Harvey, your thoughts on, do you think that they should or they shouldn't? Do you see wrestlers point when they don't credit kind of stuff like this, when they use artwork on Twitter but they don't kind of give credit back?
I think artwork is different than using a likeness. If someone has put time and effort into artwork, I think you do need to credit them.
Yeah.
I think it's unfair not to. Again, I can see what Ciampa's doing, like what you're saying. Yeah. But, I mean, especially because he's a public eye figure, I do think that comes a part of the territory that people will use him in artwork. So yeah, he absolutely should be crediting people.
Yeah, I just, it bothers me because I think that, like, what he's doing is, again, it's not anti-Ciampa, it's he's using the defense that a lot of wrestlers use privately, and he's using it publicly to work a heel stick. So I actually admire the heel work, I just hate the concept in general. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about something from NXT UK.
So like everyone, I was very excited about NXT UK's first takeover at the weekend, but I was out shopping when it started. So I was just out shopping, and next thing, my phone started blowing up, like my Twitter, and I went on and I saw, holy shit, Travis Banks out, Finn Balor in. And I immediately turned off my phone and rushed home to watch it.
Nice. Right decision.
Because I was very excited. I think for a lot of people, this is a dream match. These two have never been in a singles match. They've only been in one match together ever before.
Stop, really?
In the Wolf Tone and Bray. I was there. It was Paddy Morrow and Jordan Devlin against Finn Balor and Robbie Morrissey.
Amazing.
And it was a deadly match. But as far as I know, that's the only time Jordan and Finn Balor have been in the ring together. So, like, this was a dream match. And the fact that it was unannounced and it was a genuine surprise and provoked a genuine reaction, like, my Twitter, I'm not joking, was on fire. So I watched the match, really enjoyed it. I thought, like, this is really special. I thought Jordan, especially when Balor came out, fucking unbelievable. Yeah. And then I go back on Twitter, and people are actually giving out about it. They're giving out saying it did not live up to their expectations.
What?
How can a match you didn't know was happening not live up to your expectations? It baffles me. You didn't know it was happening. It's a lovely surprise. Why can't you just take it for the lovely moment it was? Yeah. You know what? They might be able to pull a better match out of the bag, but I think to have a truly excellent match, it needs a backstory and it needs a build. That does have a slight build because the whole like trainer versus trainee thing, but it hasn't been told on WWE TV. So I just think it's ridiculous to be like, oh, well, that wasn't the 5-star match I imagined it would be. Well, you didn't imagine it before 10 minutes ago. And like, it's just something that's like symptomatic in Irish Twitter, and this is going to veer slightly off, but I just don't understand why people have to put something down or put one thing down to build another up. You know, so I've seen people saying like, oh, but Jordan's had better matches this year. Well, why does that have an effect on your enjoyment of this match?
Yeah.
You know, it's like the new Irish wrestling school opening up. Fantastic. Can only be good for the scene to have more trainers, more places to train, more opportunities.
Yeah.
Still people are on Twitter, oh, this is the only place to train if you're a wrestler. Fuck me, my 10-year school, right? Like, it's the same thing. This person's the hardest worker on the scene. Oh, so we just negate all the hard work everyone else has done?
Yeah.
It's just, you don't have to tear something down to make something else look good.
Yeah.
And to me, like, because Finn Balor's so good, because Jordan's so good, and it's probably had the best year of his career, like, I just don't understand why they had to shit on that match afterwards. It was such a special moment, and hopefully leads to another.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be great.
For me, it's more like that. Out of all the shit that happened in NXT, maybe it's just because I'm Irish and obviously my Twitter is Irish, but for me, I just seem like that was the most talked about moment of the whole fucking show, because Finn Balor showed up. It didn't need to be the fucking 20-star match or whatever that it obviously can be, because the whole point is that's already happening on the show. There's already show-stealing matches that are happening. What steals the show about this is the moment, the surprise, not the match itself. You know what I mean? Like, obviously Balor's going to win. Devlin's not at that stage yet. Do you know what I mean? But and they didn't waste it either. Like, I'm buzzing to see the rematch. It probably won't happen for a few years, but I'm fucking buzzing to see it.
I must have missed all this, because I was just I literally marked out on Twitter the other night, like when this happened. I was proper marking out, like it was fantastic. I loved it. I never saw any of this, and it's just one of these things. Do you know when you hear criticism and you're like, "What? That was really good. Stop! Just let me like this."
You know where the best place on the internet was for it?
Where?
I'm from the same town as Jordan and Finn Balor from Bray, and so I'm part of, like, the Bray local forums and
Right.
stuff. And like, someone had posted a picture of the two of them and goes, look, little Jordan and Fergal are doing a match on TV tonight, and it was just like hundreds of comments of like clearly like their mammy's friends and stuff being like, would you look at that? Isn't that lovely? And I was like, this is pure. I'm going to stay here on the internet tonight.
That's how even the wrestling fans should be reacting to that. You know what I mean? It's lovely.
Good for Jen. Good for you, Fergal. I remember you used to poo your pants when you were 4. Oh, brilliant. I really want to see that. Can we get like screenshots or something?
Yeah, I could go in and get that.
That sounds to cheer me up. Anyway, more hot takes. Go, Keen.
All right.
Keen's still working out the kinks, new cues.
Swear I haven't been doing this for like 7 months, whatever it is now. But yeah. So mine is actually NXT related as well. But I mean, it can be used for any UK show. I don't see this too often. No, I do. I see it, generally speaking, once after every UK show. You'll get one person on Facebook or Twitter or somewhere saying, and they're always either American or Canadian, and you'll see them going, oh, UK crowds are the worst. They're always trying to put themselves over. This is something I actually couldn't disagree with this anymore. So you know how, like, proper Republican and like fucking, you know the way I am.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
so for me to say that,
you hate the Brits.
so for me to say, basically, like, for me to so for me to turn around and say that this massive British crowd are the fucking best. I mean, like, do you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, if the American was like, if they came from a Japanese crowd and it was like their culture was, you know, the Japanese way where it's quiet and, you know, respectful and whatever else, I'm like, all right, fair enough. But the American crowds are just a shit version of the British crowds. It's like they want to have all the same hype and all the same, you know, creativity and fun, but they don't have it. All they have is na 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 na. Na 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 na. Whereas the Brits, it's to do with the country itself. Like, I only found this out when I was growing up, right? But I used to wonder. I used to watch football and wrestling then, and I'd be like, right, so the football fans are singing and they've got all these millions of different songs. They're having the best crack ever. But then I'd go to watch wrestling and it's, let's go, this person sucks. I'm like, why are you acting weird? Why are they singing? Like, and then it wasn't until I watched like NBA or something when I was like 11. Or it was one of those sports anyway, and the fans that were there were going, let's go Celtics, or whoever the fuck it was, do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, so they're for their sporting events that aren't wrestling, they their wrestling crowds.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not, I feel like a lot of them don't even realise that as well. I feel like it's not just a wrestling thing, it's a country thing. Like the reason in Japan they're all quiet and respectful is because that's just the way their culture is. Do you know what I mean? And if you go to the UK, it's like being at a football match. And if you go to America, it's like being at a, I don't know, NFL or something. I don't know. But, yeah, and it's just like, and like, are the British crowds the ones that chant CM Punk? Are they the ones that bring beach balls to their fucking shows? Are they the ones that, you know, chant "We Are Awesome"? When have you ever heard a "We Are Awesome" chant at a UK show? Never. It's the best crowd ever. Like, and people say, like, oh, you know, they're putting themselves over. But it's like, I know who Saxon Huxley is. Do you know why I know who Saxon Huxley is? Because when he was in the NXT UK tournament, they chanted, "Let's go, Jesus, Jesus sucks." And it was really fucking funny. And I was like, oh, that's the Jesus guy. I wouldn't have remembered him otherwise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I mean, you look at all the other stuff, like, also, I mean, if the wrestlers hated it, then fair enough. But what wrestlers do you know, like, hate wrestling in front of a crowd like that? Do you know what I mean? Like, when do wrestlers ever come out and say, like, that crowd is shit? I hated when they were all singing my name and stuff. It was awful. Like, what? And the Are You Watching Vince McMahon? That was gas. That was way better than CM Punk chant. So, it's just, for me, honestly, the crowd adds to it so much. Like, it adds to the atmosphere, and I feel like I'm there almost when I'm watching it. And I love it.
And it's nice as well to watch a British show with a British crowd behaving like a British crowd does as well. So, like, yeah, I get that. There's a line where I think crowds can go from, like, being, you know, cool and rowdy and adding to the show to being obnoxious and stuff like that. Like you say, and you pointed out, and a lot of it does go to American crowds. But I think we can all agree that, like, whether you're looking at Japanese, British, American crowds, they're all shit compared to Irish crowds.
Yeah,
right?
that was actually what I was going to say next. Yeah, pretty much.
There you go, guys. Anyway, that was another edition of Hot Takes. Let's talk about the good and the bad from the in-ring this week. We'll start with the bad, and we'll continue with NXT UK because it's time for
Say something stupid.
Right, we're going to continue with NXT UK and say something stupid first, but we don't want to get too negative because there was a lot of positive, and we are very much going to talk about it in This Is Awesome. But let's start with the slight downsides from NXT UK Takeover.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of things that didn't work for me, but I said last week I wasn't really looking forward to, like, say, Dennis and Mastiff and stuff like that. That actually ended up being better than I expected. Yeah. So it's not my Say Something Stupid. My Say Something Stupid is a little bit more political than that. I was reading an article about how NXT UK Takeover has no people of colour. It is a completely whitewashed show.
Ooh. And
it was just really interesting. Apparently the only person of any colour was Ginny on the pre-show. And she had been doing all the promos and stuff leading up on, like, BBC Asia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just weird to me because the UK is such a diverse country.
Yeah.
I think Leeds was the first city in the world to have more ethnics. Can I say that? Ethnicities, people of ethnicity
that's not a bad thing.
than British-born people.
Whoa.
So their population Leeds is actually more
ethnicities
ethnicities than it is British people.
Right.
I just find it weird that in the roster that, you know, that's it. But the article was about how that's, like, a problem throughout British wrestling in general.
Right.
That
because I'm trying to
it's
think
disproportionate.
I'm trying to think of, like, well, why don't they have? Oh, yeah, there's not. There.
So, like, what? Like, does that mean they have to, like, push Ashton Smith then? Just because, like, do you know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying they have to push people just because, like, that's a sort of racism as well. Because you're still doing something because of the colour person's skin. I just find it weird because they do have people on the roster, as I said, like Ginny. They do have people like Ashton Smith. They have people of other nationalities and other.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing, and the article just kind of struck a chord at me that in a country as diverse as England and Britain as a whole, that
I'm trying to think of what possible, like, kind of causes it could be where I'm like WWE just really like they're like, right, they voted for Brexit, so like, let's just play it safe, you know, they're a bit of a racist country, we don't want to push any buttons, not going near that. I want to add something from NXT UK, just something small, but it's something that if I see, it'll always get a mention because it's a basic kind of, you tell trainees this. Pete Dunne and Joe Coffey is getting a lot of stick. The match itself, rather than, and we will talk about the ending. Don't worry, guys. It's getting a lot of stick, and you know, I think perhaps a bit unfairly. I think it's a lot of people don't know Joe Coffey, and they're like, "Why is this guy in the main event against Pete Dunne, who we know?" and blah blah blah. And like his style is very like Joe Coffey, like, he's super technical wrestler, but he didn't get a chance to do a lot of that, like, because of the style of match they were having. And all, he can do a bit of everything, like, you know, but in this match, he was booked to be kind of a brawler and kind of a Bradshaw-style wrestler, you know what I mean? So I understand how it might be jarring. I didn't have much of a problem with the match. I had a problem with the finish, though. And it's just basic. Repeating the spot. Don't ever repeat the spot. So they went up, and I think this was supposed to be the finish, which is why they repeated the spot, because they'd obviously had a big spot planned for the finish. I'd say they were probably somehow going to go for a bitter end off the top rope or something like that. But basically, when they both went up to the top at the start, they both just fell off. And I was like, I don't actually know if that was a fuck-up, because that seemed pretty fucking... You know, I could believe that that's a part of a story. They're both so tired they fell. But then they worked their way back into the ring and slowly went back up to the top. And then they fell, but in a way we were like, yeah, no, that was a fuck up. And then Pete had to improvise and do the bitter end and the finish. And you could tell, because it was so kind of awkward and clunky, that it was like, right, that wasn't supposed to be the finish. It's just like, don't repeat the spot, lads. If it fucks up the first time, improvise, because we know then. Like, the second you went back up, we're like, right, the first one was a bot. So it's just, it'll always get something with me. Again, don't want to criticize the lads too much. I enjoyed the match. I got a lot of stick.
I liked it too, yeah.
I enjoyed the match, but it did get a lot of stick. But that part just kind of rankled me. But again, with the ending, it more than made up for it. Anyway, in at number 5, you've been going all around the indies. Lucha Underground is gone, so you're checking out Ring of Honor this week.
Yeah, it's actually, this is technically a good thing, but I'll put it and say something stupid, right? I'll explain. The champion, yeah, I've been in and out of Ring of Honor, so I don't know everything that's going on, but currently the women's champion is Kelly Klein.
Right.
And she cut a promo before our match, and she's like, from now on, every singles match that I have is for this title, right? So that should be, and this is awesome, but it's just something I wanted to talk about, and it's kind of, for me, it's something that I'm putting and say something stupid, because that's the way it should always be, in my opinion. If you, like, it's different if you're like an indie, or you got one show a month or 2 shows a month, but if you're like doing a weekly TV show, so if you're like Impact, Ring of Honor, Raw, SmackDown, I don't know why, but I just hate the world champion just being in a random non-title match.
The world champion?
Yeah.
Like, if it's the main champion?
Yeah.
Should the world champion, like, the world champion has to wrestle, because you have to obviously, like, see them, like, every now and then, do what they do.
Have them good promos. And I mean, if for the live crowd, you could do a dark match or something, do you know what I mean? If it's TV or whatever. But, like, for me, I'm just not a fan of it. I just think it's kind of dumb. Yeah, that's why that's why people tune in to see Brock Lesnar. They hate him, but they're all watching because he doesn't wrestle. You know, he doesn't defend his title on Raw or SmackDown. Yeah. But no, sorry. I wouldn't mind they're defending their title. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. If they're defending their title on a TV show, that's alright. But for me, it's like random throwing them into tag matches and as if they're just, another wrestler. They're meant to be a big deal. They're meant to be like, you know what I mean? If
it's a lower card title, I totally get you. Like, if it's the tag team champions fighting another tag team, I'm like, why is this not a title match? Like, why would you choose to not make it interesting? Like, this could be for the belts next week if the other team win. Well, now I kind of know what's going to happen. Like, yeah, so I do get that. I do appreciate that, especially with lower ones. I don't mind, like, I don't think the world champion, if it's on Raw, I don't think the world champion should wrestle. Like, I don't know. That's
I kind of like it to set up stuff sometimes, though, because if they're in a tag match and they get pinned in a tag match, and then immediately that sets up someone to challenge them.
Okay.
I think it can be used the right way sometimes.
This is very, like, fundamentally, like, different kind of views on it. Like,
yeah,
I like these memes.
Especially if it's like a heel champion and, like, there's faces on the other team and the face, even a quick roll-up, and then you're like, oh, shit, well, he has his number,
But what I find is that anytime I ever see a world champion in a tag team match, I know he's getting pinned. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like they have to set something up.
Do you know what you'd like? I don't know if you'd like it or not. New Japan is exactly that, where the like if you're a champion, you're wrestling a singles match, you're more than likely fighting for the title. But if you're like you could be in a multi-man tag match, but if you lose, that guy's then going to challenge for your belt at a later date, and they're really strict with that. Like they keep score of all the guys like who've won, even in tag matches, who've won and lost, and who took the pin and this and that. Like,
did you hear what doing with All Elite Wrestling, or could be doing? Like, it's not confirmed or anything like that, but Cody like teased it. It could be like a sports like type thing where they have win-loss records and rankings and shit. That's what he teased. I don't know if that would be a good or a bad thing. It kind of depends who's running it and how to do it.
I kind of like it, I think.
Do you remember they brought in rankings a while back with WWE?
Yeah.
And it just didn't make sense. It was just like they just made up their own, and it's like in at number 4, Naomi. In at number 10, Randy Orton. I'm like, where did you get this?
They
What
still
metrics
exist. Are you talking
using?
about the power rankings? 25 power rankings.
No, they did it on TV for a while, and they just like would run through the rankings. Like Daniel Bryan made a big thing of it, and I was like, cool. Like, oh, you're showing me a pecking order. I thought it was going to be in each division and stuff like that, but then it's just like completely random. Girls and guys in the same thing, so it's like they can never fight to judge who the ranking is. Like, so like there's no kind of, and then it just randomly fluctuates.
You've got,
it's like in at
teams.
number 2, Rey Mysterio. He's not on the show this week.
Yeah, and then you've got like tag teams, so it's like, fucking Ty Dillinger is here and Heavy Machinery is here. It's like, well, they can't.
Why would that be?
There's 2 of them and there's 1 of him, so I would imagine they're better.
It's just chaos. It really bothered me. But yeah, that's it. I like those philosophical debates about wrestling. Then at number 4, one from Raw. Speaking of Heavy Machinery, so do you know the way for the past few weeks they've been like they've been teasing these call-ups that are going to be coming to the main roster. Like they've been putting out videos, and they're like loads of them are coming up. They debuted them, and SmackDown as well was guilty of this. They debuted them in such a weird way. Like EC3, he's had a long road back to WWE, like, and I'd say over the years, like, he went away, kind of got sacked from developmental. It was a bit of a bitter ending, I think, but he went away, rebuilt himself in TNA, so WWE would have to pay attention. Came back. I'm sure he always had like his like moment in his head and planned out. I'm sure his moment wasn't when like they did a thing with Vince McMahon where Braun Strowman lost the belt, lost the title shot, which we'll discuss in a bit. But they're kind of, as Vince McMahon like takes the title shot off Braun, loads of guys are queuing up in the back, and like they have a reporter outside, and then the reporter just randomly turns around and just sees EC3, and he's just smiling. He looks kind of creepy, like. And then on SmackDown they had him show up again, where Samoa Joe's walking through the back, and then he just looks, and EC3 just points and was like, "Hey!" Like, what is this?
Do you know what it reminds you of?
Oh.
Do you ever play SmackDown Shut Your Mouth?
Yeah.
Where like you're running around the backstage area on your career mode, you can do whatever you want, and you don't know what to do, so you're roaming around, you're like, you see like fucking Booker T standing in the hall doing nothing, and you're like, hey.
They did it with Heavy Machinery as well, where like have you seen any of this? This
Not
is
Heavy Machinery.
This is bad. Like they had a moment of bliss, which is Alexa Bliss's new talk show, which I'm kind of into. Also, another thing that I want to bring up before I bring up that, Raw was actually, this should have been higher on the list. Raw was a bit stupid this week. They had a segment for no reason before moment of, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
For no reason, this is going to make you angry, right? Put your feminist claws away, because you're going to get angry. Don't punch anyone. Keenan, get out of the way. They had a segment for no reason where there's a producer backstage before a moment of bliss, and he's bringing in coffee to Alexa, and then he's knocking on the door for ages, and then he's like, "All right, I'm coming in," and then Alexa was just naked.
I did see this, and I did get angry.
At least we're getting a second-hand version here. And it never amounted to anything. She was just naked. It was very Attitude Era.
Like when Vince used to walk in on Trish in the towel and stuff.
Yeah.
Never amount. Did you see the views this got on YouTube? I would die for those views. I would chop off limbs for those views. Literally, that thumbnail alone got like 46 million views in about a minute or something like that. Like, it's just WWE taking advantage of like 12-year-olds who are new to YouTube and are like, oh, Bob. But like, what's call it? No, did you see what happened on Impact?
No.
This is like quite possibly why they did it. They did it because they did something similar on SmackDown, obviously, like we're going to talk about later, I think, with Mandy Rose. Scarlett Bordeaux had a segment, and I was going to talk about this because it was like, I didn't know what to put it in. I was like, is it stupid, or is it like so stupid that it's kind of funny, that it's kind of good, that's kind of this is awesome, but not quite? So I was like, I'm just not going to fucking mention it, I'm not arsed. Basically, Scott Steiner came back on Impact.
Okay.
I am already on board with this.
Yeah, so basically Scarlett Bordeaux's character is like, she's kind of like, it's like Attitude Era, like kind of Sable type
Diva
character.
type, yeah.
And her whole thing was, we're on a new network, so I'm gonna strip. And then she was like, I said that really loud. But she comes out and she's doing the whole like teasing thing, and she's like, oh, do you want bobs? Do you want bobs? And the fans are like, yeah. And actually cut to one fan who was about to have a fucking aneurysm. He's like, yeah, yeah.
All my life.
Are you calling boobs bobs?
Yeah, no, it's a reference to the videos. It's
Okay, the Indian.
to the comments. Yeah.
Okay,
Indian
alright.
comments.
And they're like, so she's like, Bobs, and they're like, yeah! And then out comes the Desi Hit Squad, who are like it's two Indian like lads are about in their 20s, and one Gamma Singh who's like their dad,
Right.
and he's like they're three heels, and they come out and Gamma Singh is like, no, cover up. You think the Indian lads coming out would be like, Bob but no, he was like, no, private, you don't need to strip in front of these people and all that sort of stuff. And then who comes out? Scott Steiner. The sirens hit, Gamma Singh has a heart attack, the two kids get the shit kicked out of them, and he's like, we want Bob's, the big bad booty daddy wants tits. And he's like, yeah, and then she strips, and then that's it. And yeah.
Are you still happy with Scott Steiner's return?
Exactly. That's what I
He
mean.
gets you talking.
That's what I mean. But like a lot of people were talking about this segment. I saw this all over the internet, and I was like, I'm just saying, there's a chance like WWE would have seen the buzz that kind of generated, and then try to replicate it.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because
I mean,
it was just a throwaway segment, and like, but it was
like
just very.
in the interest of equality, like they should just have like Dean Ambrose in the nip now. That would only be
That
fair.
would probably get some people talking. It'll get
To be
Nicola
fair,
talking.
they had him getting an injection up his arse the other week, like, so, like, yeah, they're not completely wrong. Yeah, but moment of bliss, they had Paul Heyman on, and they announced the women's tag team titles will be defended at Elimination Chamber, blah, blah, blah. You've probably seen it already. Yeah, Paul Heyman on cutting a promo ahead of what we'll talk about, the new title match where Braun Strowman's got taken out. And then the segment ended with Otis from Heavy Machinery, because they had a cake for some reason, coming out and being like, "Ah, cake, ah!" And then you're like, okay, right, I immediately know how Vince McMahon saw this person. And he just like starts like messing with the cake, and then his tag team partner comes out and he's like, come on to the back. And then like the segment ended. Like, and then we're like, main event time. And it's like, what?
So he's just like a cake monster.
Yeah, and then when he was backstage when Becky did her debut. Now this is kind of cool, but Becky just makes it cool. On SmackDown then, he's messing around with the New Day. Like, they're kind of... He's like, yeah, messing with cake and pancakes with them, and then Becky comes by and just stops. Like, she's doing like the Steve Austin thing where she's like, you see her entering the arena at the start of the show, and she's walking through and she just interacts with someone. She just stops, eats some cake, and just keeps walking, and you're like, alright, that was cool. But yeah, weird way to debut them. After building them all up for months, they constantly did that where you were just in the background, and then it's like, oh, there's Lacey Evans. Anyway, like, we're getting back to the show, and it's like, what? Like, you could do something with that. Like, I don't know. I'll give them a chance, but it was strange. Anyway, in at number 3, talk to me about something else you're catching up on. WXW.
Yeah, so I finally watched WXW. Didn't talk about it last week, so I was saving it for this one. I watched every show from the anniversary show from December 2017 to the anniversary show of 2018.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Committed.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be like, Courage are bringing over WXW lads, so I don't want to be like pretending I know who they are. You know what I mean? Like,
I suppose one of us should probably do homework.
Exactly. You know what I mean? I like, we're all going to cage match. I know, like that's how it is. But I was like, there's a lot of them. I should really just. I mean, it'd be more fun as well if I knew who they were. I'd appreciate it more. And this is to say something stupid, part, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll save most of what I was going to say then. Yeah. So for this, it's just one thing, right? It's yeah. So I like WXW. But On Demand, for their entrances, they are very copyright conscious, yeah? So, what would you do in that situation? So, if you had an On Demand, and you have an On Demand.
Yeah, literally own one.
Well, wait, what is that On Demand, by the way, just in case anybody didn't know?
lowblowsvod.pivotchair.com.
And how much is it a month?
It's €8 a month. You can check out some of the great stuff from Fight Factory, from Courage, from Phoenix Wrestling, from PWU, and independent Irish wrestling shows. You can pretty much check out the past year of Irish wrestling if you want for the low price of €8 a month. Thanks, Corporate Keen. Back to the show.
Anyway.
That was flawless.
I do this a lot.
But, yeah, so they're very copyright conscious. So what they do is, instead of, like, I wouldn't mind if they like cut out the entrances altogether. That's fine too. But instead, what they do is they mute the entrances altogether. You can't hear the crowd.
They do this in New Japan sometimes too.
You can't hear the crowd. You can't hear the music. And every wrestler has the same song. The same song. It's the theme song of the whatever show it is.
Oh.
And it's fucking bad, right? It really, like, it's just one element of any other show. It's just one little element. It's not a big deal. I would still recommend checking it out or whatever. But I was watching Shortcut to the Top 2018. That's their Royal Rumble. So, the counter happens, people are buzzing, they're counting down, 10, 9, 8 happens. The buzzer, you know where this is going.
No.
The buzzer goes off, it goes silent. The best part of the Royal Rumble is hearing the music and hearing the pop that the wrestler gets, and you're like, oh, that's fucking whoever. And it ruined it. It ruined the whole. I'm sorry, I can't. Obviously, it was still. I'm not saying the match was shit, but it did take me out of it. And I mean, are you familiar with the Ilya Dragunov moment?
Yeah.
For those who aren't, just to fill you in really quick, Ilya Dragunov is there like Jordan Devlin, like he's there fucking ultra babyface. He was out for a few months. Then it was Walter versus John Klinger. Last minute swerve. He got added. It was a surprise. It was now a triple threat. Loudest pop possibly ever for anywhere. And it was mad, right? And it's on YouTube, so you can watch it. It's not the end of the world. But if you're watching it on demand, as soon as Walter, you know where this is going.
I didn't know that.
As soon as Walter goes, because Walter was able to choose stipulation, that's how it got switched around. He was like, this is going to be a 3-way dance. And you just hear the crowd go, and it's like, oh my god, like it just ruined everything.
But like most wrestlers have copyright free music, like Progress uses copyright free music and loads of other places
I
do.
think they use copyrighted songs, and I don't mind that as long as it was like a good workaround, like for on demand. It's like even just cut out the entrances. Just cut like.
I think the good folks at WXW need to give our friend Tristan Carroll a tune sweet and call.
Yeah, I mean, like when I did Progress, they sent me a list of 100 songs and just told me to pick one. They're like, these are all copyright free.
That's
pick
really good.
Pick what one, and that way they can keep the crowd reaction on the VOD.
That's really professional.
And then same with GWF, I went over. They went, we listened to your theme, which is 9 Inch Nails, and they're like, so we've given you something industrial. Is this okay?
Nice.
And they give you a
6
theme
inch
song.
fingers.
It's just me. I was gonna say it's just me playing tin whistle. That'd be great. Oh
No,
my God.
I did do a show in Holland, and they gave me and Phil like real like trad country music, but they didn't tell us until we were about to go out through the curtain, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
You heard my theme music for my very first match ever.
No.
My
God, I know this.
I didn't know it was coming out. This is in Trabolgan Holiday Centre. First match ever. This is the moment I've been waiting my life for. And then, as I'm going out, all I hear is, "Can you dig it?"
I love it.
It haunts me to this day.
Did you play along though? Did you act out?
I had to. There were some fans who were like, and I'm like, right, yeah.
Or did you do
just
like
go
the
there.
whole like, fuck it, no, I'm a serious wrestler. I need to be serious regardless of the
No,
circumstances.
No, I haven't.
Do you
I've seen
remember
that
the Rumble we did on the Fight Factory show?
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So, do you remember that Dom Tuck came out to the swamp music from Shrek? Yeah, he didn't know that was his music, and it came on. I was like, "Dom, you're out now." And he's like, "No, that's not my music." And I was like, "Well."
Turns out it is. Brilliant. Well, let's look. Speaking of devil, in at number 2, controversial one from a person who organised all of this. One from Fight Factory.
Yeah, the mid-card mafia are little shits. I want to speak specifically about CBL versus Connor Day.
Right, from Fight Factory's gym show.
From our gym show at the weekend. So I don't know if you know this about Connor Day, but he is the 2016 Clara Battle Royal winner.
What an achievement though. Do you know what I mean? He deserves credit for that.
He really wanted credit for it, which is why he brought a plastic GA trophy and sellotaped his own handmade sign over it saying Clara Battle Royal winner, and made me present it to him before his match, and then defended it in a 2-man over the top Battle Royal, which he forgot to tell the crowd. That's how you won the match.
Yeah, I forgot it wasn't serious edition. Still though, I love it. I don't care. I think they're fucking best, and he is genuinely the king of the battle royal. I don't think there's anyone else that has decided to make that claim. So by default, he is definitely the king of the battle royal.
Yeah.
It is a bit tongue in cheek. They're very entertaining and very funny, but they're also little shits.
How the show go on in general? Anything positive you like to highlight?
Oh, it was really good. The main event, Big Rab, Justin Daniels against Club Rock Shandy was excellent, wasn't it?
It was fucking gas. First of all, Big Rab had a really cool small drop in it as well at one point that just stands out. But my favourite spot of the whole fucking thing was when it was like, who wants to chop Club Rock Shandy? And then like all the wrestlers are just like fucking
Yeah, so all the wrestlers have been sitting on the mats along the back of the gym, and next thing they're like elbowing children out of the way, pushing parents over to get these chops in. And then, just as it's all dying down, CBL, who's already wrestled, legs it out in his wrestling gear with a ham sandwich hanging out of his mouth, chops him, and then runs back. And it was chaos.
Also, Club Rock Shandy had a manager.
Yes, they did. Owen Mason, yes.
Shout out to Owen. Hi. I thought he was really cool. Cause I've never actually seen him like in wrestling
I
mode.
have never seen anyone wear a mustard corduroy suit before in my life. But it was excellent.
It was amazing. It was beautiful.
Oh my god, I'm raging. I was still sick Nash, unfortunately, on Sunday, so I couldn't make it. I'm absolutely raging. I'm only hearing great things from it on Twitter and whatnot, so hoping to check out some of the footage that may have some of the trainee footage that may have made its way. Anyway, guys, in at number one, it can only be one for Say Something Stupid this week, from SmackDown, which we don't often get. How much have you seen of this? Have you seen it?
I've seen it, and my one issue is, like, she's more naked when she wrestles.
This is it. Well, we'll talk about it anyway. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm talking about the Mandy Rose skit from this week in SmackDown, where it's one of those old things where they don't know when to acknowledge the cameras and when to not, which is my biggest bugbear with it, because it's like, so basically, if you haven't seen it, Mandy Rose gives Jimmy Uso her hotel room key, and then backstage when the cameras are being acknowledged, like they're doing a promo and they're like, look, you can't do this, man, you can't do this, but they are acknowledging that the cameras are there at the same time. Jimmy's like, alright, and he's thinking about it, and then you cut to the hotel where Jimmy's walking through the corridor looking like distraught and like he doesn't know what he's going to do. And then it's that whole, again, I hate this WWE trope where it's like knock on the door and then there's a cameraman in the hotel room already, and it's like, there's no way this works. Like, this is a company this is a TV show that has commentators that commentate on the action. So he's committing an affair on his wife with all these cameramen that he has to know are there. This isn't like, you can't just pull the curtain back and then like go, wait, there's a curtain. You know what I mean? You can't do both, lads. And then like, yeah, they have Mandy strips and she's like, let's do this, and then she's like, aha. And then like after all this, despite there being a cameraman like in the room recording all this for us to watch, despite it being aired on SmackDown and the commentators on national television with commentators referring to it, a paparazzi runs out of the bathroom, takes a photo of it all, and then just legs it. And then Jimmy's like, what? And she's like, as if I'd ever go out with you. I just want to break you and Naomi up. Ha 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 ha. And he walks off all dejected, and Naomi magically appears in the room. By the way, the door doesn't slam. Naomi is just in the room and then attacks Mandy on a bed. And so you're just like, why are they on the bed? Like, why is that inconvenient? Why do I think this is, I really want to see this match. They're going to kill each other. I'm like, that just looks like they're fighting and having a mess. Like, it was absolutely awful. And like, I understand and appreciate that WWE are trying to be better and they're taking risks, so I'm not going to hold it against them too much, because I was definitely paying attention.
We're talking about it.
Yeah, which is better than what I can say for a lot of the stuff. But it was not the good kind.
I didn't see any of that. I thought you meant when she interrupted the match in a towel, and I was like, but her wrestling gear is smaller than that, so why is this supposed to be scandalous that she's wearing a towel?
She was in lingerie, but again, yeah, that could have applied to her lingerie, because it was like, it wasn't revealing stuff, because...
Maybe I'm thinking of last week, because this is where I'm thinking of where Naomi attacked her backstage then, and she's wearing the lovely luminous gear. And my favourite thing ever is she takes off her high heels before she beats the shit out of her. That is such like,
nice.
That's the way to do it.
I'm really confused. Did he cheat on Naomi, or was it just like...
I think the thing we're meant to take away, but it wasn't explained, so like, you can think this. I think the thing we're meant to take away is that it was all a ruse, and Johnny or Jimmy told Naomi about it.
Oh, but it's like, are we left guessing? Like, is it a mystery kind of?
No, because Naomi was right there.
So it looks like Mandy Rose is setting him up, but he was actually setting her up.
Oh,
so Naomi could beat her up. Yeah.
But it wasn't explained either.
Again, this is like that storyline I talked about earlier with the Hardys and Lita.
Yeah.
No, not with Jeff and Matt though. When Dean Malenko was trying to go out with her, and she lured Dean Malenko back to the hotel room in the lingerie, and she turns the lights off. She's like, I'm going to get more comfortable. And she turns the lights off, and she turns them back on, and Matt and Jeff are standing on the bed. And they hop on him and beat the shit out of him.
See, that actually makes sense, because it's like, give him an erection, and then attack him. Like, he's not dangerous at all.
But that was a bit weird, because they lost the match, and she had to go on a date with him. No, she lost the match.
There was a lot of that. Lita had to marry Kane.
Yeah, they really kind of did a number on her.
Hard life.
Man, those stipulations always fuck in my head, because it's like, right, you have to go on a date with Dean Malenko, is it?
Yeah.
So it's like, but technically, like, what? Does he decide where to go? I mean, surely you can just go McDonald's and then leave. I mean, that's a date, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you have to marry Kane, but could you not, like, divorce then the next day or something? Like, how does this all work?
I think you have to live together for 3 years. Oh no, you have to separate for 3 years before you get divorced. That's the way it is.
Loser leaves town. It's like
it's really inconvenient, and it messes with your tax. It's just like it's messy.
But then they come back. It's like, well, how long were they meant to leave? I don't get this.
Anyway, guys, let's talk about the good from week, because it's time for. Cian is milling through a blueberry-looking pack of chocolate muffins.
They're all right. I'd say the actual chocolate ones would be better.
If you had to give them a star rating, what would it be?
I don't know. It's too early. It's too early to make a mind.
The chocolate ones are good.
Yeah,
they
do seem better. I should have just bought 2 of them.
I lived on the chocolate mini muffins.
Or one of each.
Well, that's what I did.
Oh, okay.
I think the chocolate ones are going to be way nicer.
My 2 snow days last year were chocolate mini muffins and tea. Like, that was how I spent them. Like, that was it. And I think I watched a lot of WWE Network. Anyway.
My snow day was shit scary. I didn't have any Pringles or anything. I didn't even go out and shop. Shit scary. Awful idea.
Can you talk? Because you're first.
Oh, that's what you were saying. You were first.
We're doing a show.
You're like, you're first. I was like,
In at number 6, let's talk about Impact. The good.
Yeah. Okay, so this isn't really, it doesn't seem like a good thing, but I was entertained. So can you really say it was bad if you were entertained? Well, yeah, you can, but still.
Especially you.
So I talked about the main. Did I talk about the main event on air or off air of Homecoming last week?
We talked about it on
Johnny
air.
Impact and Brian Cage. Okay, so for those of you who weren't listening, basically, Brian Cage lost to Johnny Impact. They're both faces, but it was a real kind of fucky kind of ending. It was also like there was like a botched ending as well, kind of. So Johnny Impact, I think, like it appears that he's still a face. Like he says face things, but he gets like heel reactions, and
nice.
It's the funniest. It's so fucking funny. Like Killer Cross comes out and he's just like Taya Valkyrie. So Taya Valkyrie is like that's his wife, I think. Yeah. And that's like on air, that's acknowledged. So Killer Cross comes out and he powerbombed Taya Valkyrie at the last show, and now he's like, like Johnny's he's in the ring. And he's like, I need to avenge the beating that my wife took, whatever. So he wants to get revenge on Killer Cross, and it's all babyface stuff. And they're just like, boo, we want Cage, we want Cage.
Nice.
And Killer Cross comes out and he's like, I destroyed Valkyrie or Taya Valkyrie, like at Homecoming, and. As soon as she comes back, she's going straight back to the hospital, and everyone's like, "Hey, thank you, Cross, thank you, Cross." I'm like, bit sick, but I'm alright. I'm cool with it because I love Killer Cross. I think Killer Cross is going to have a breakout 2019.
Okay.
But the reason this is awesome is because I feel like they're making a massive star out of Cage. I feel like not yet, but I feel like it's going that way because he's getting like really good reactions, and he like. Do you both know Cage?
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't, he's a monster, but he can move like a fucking cruiserweight. Like he is exactly the sort of person you'd want as like your top star if he was getting the reactions. Do you know what I mean?
I think he said no to WWE before as well.
He said no.
I think he said.
I thought he
no.
got released from WWE when he's in developmental.
He might have, but
then he might have came back from later. Like that was ages ago. Like,
yeah.
But and if Cage becomes a massive star, I'm cool with that. Like I'm into this feud now because instead of just like, okay, it may or may not have gone as planned, but like. Yeah, I'm entertained by it. It's funny because he's such a babyface, and people are just like, no, fuck off.
if fans are into one guy and not into the other, regardless of how it was written, you can do
exactly.
well. You can do well out of it.
If both are hated,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's
or just apathetic. So yeah, no, definitely, it sounds interesting. Keep us updated on that. In at number 5, let's talk about NXT, normal NXT for this week.
Yeah, so it was a good NXT, but the main thing I want to talk about is it was Nikki Cross's last NXT match because she's one of the people that has the call-up. And she wrestled Bianca Belair, and it was just deadly. Like, it was just a really good match. And yeah, if they build a whole women's division around Bianca Belair, I will not be upset. She's still undefeated, so she met Nikki, and like she's going in to face Shayna Baszler at the next Takeover, like undefeated. And I just think it's a really cool proposition. I just think she's deadly. They've built her up really well, and they've a lot of other good girls in the division as well. So I think it's going to be like another golden era, back like when with Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, all them.
Nice.
So yeah, it was just a really good match.
Kind of built around a lot of the Mae Young Classic. People. Yeah,
I would tell people to seek out that match, to go watch for that match.
Okay, definitely. Yeah, I'll check that out. Anyway, let's talk about the good from WXW.
I mean, I did kind of want to eat my muffin, but that's fine. That's fine. Whatever.
You're done after this. You got all
Is
the time.
that 6 rappers you have already?
Do you need to say that on air? Like,
Keenan's making a dent in them muffins.
Like, my plan was literally to eat the whole box, and I was hoping that nobody would know. Apparently not.
I'm really impressed, to be fair.
Oh, thanks. So WXW, right? I really should have taken notes about this. You know when you got a lot of good things to say about something, and you're like, you write, like when you do in New Japan in the doc, writes out, like this. I forgot. So basically, this is going to be a very mumbly, incoherent rant that just goes nowhere and everywhere. I'm going to focus on Rise first of all, right? So basically, I got into WXW. I really like it. Overall, it definitely lives up to the hype. I feel like the hype is there for a reason. And it's definitely worth checking out. It's not my favourite. It's not my absolute favourite. Like, there's promotions I prefer over it, but I don't feel ripped off or anything like that. Like, I definitely would go and watch it again. So Rise is the main, like, when I first started watching, they're like the main faction. And the best way that I can describe Rise is aces and eights, but if it was good. Like, that's probably the best. Like, if it was done well. It's like, I love factions with loads of people in it.
Yeah.
I think when people complain about Bullet Club and they say, oh, there's too many people in that, I disagree. I think there's not enough people in every other faction. They just look massive because no one else has an army. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Rise had an army, and it was cool, and it was WXW.
Who are Rise? Who's in the army?
So Rise at the start. So it was John Klinger was the leader.
Yeah.
That's Bad Bones. He was actually the first ever wrestling show I ever saw. Him versus Raven. Raven's Rules. I remember that.
Nice.
And then there's the Mac, who was in the CWC. I don't know. Let me think. I'm just going to throw some names out. I'm not going to describe them all, but like Pete Bouncer, Ivan Kiev, Lucky Kid, Tarkan Aslan. Is that his name? Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Anyway, it's a great faction because there's layers to it, and it's not like, the reason I love it is because everybody seems to have their own kind of rank. Everyone has their own individual character. It's not just John Klinger and lackeys. You know what I mean? It's like the Mac appeared to be John Klinger's favourite out of all the other lads, and he was like the second in command, but the other lads didn't quite like that, and they started to question John Klinger, and there was all these little storylines and little things, and they subtitled it, because that's another thing that WXW do really well, is they cater towards English speaking fans, and there was a lot to it. It was going really good. I think I don't see a lot of hype for John Klinger. Do you know what I mean? I was really blown away by a lot of the shit that he did at the start with Ilya Dragunov and Walter and all that. So he ended up getting suspended or released or whatever it was. I don't know why. So just to clarify, because I did talk about this off air, right? If John Klinger did something really, really bad or really serious, I'm not aware of what it is. So from a
He
pure
murdered a kid, dude.
No,
he didn't.
I don't know what he did. So I assume he murdered a kid. We probably know about it. But you know the way people do all these horrible things and like, oh, I love this wrestler. It's like, you know, that wrestler fucking like did this or that. I'm like, oh, okay. So hopefully it was nothing personal. But you know, just as from a wrestling point of view, he's my personal highlight, really. Lots of other good stuff. Bobby Guns. And no, I'm not just saying this because Courage are bringing them over and like, you know,
check it out though in the Button Factory.
yeah, the Button Factory on the 23rd of February. Yes, I knew that.
I'll teach you.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to be like, oh well, Courage are bringing them over, and that's why I'm saying they're great. Like, no, genuinely, Bobby Guns. At first, he was just another lad in the roster. I felt like he had a character, but it didn't really click with me at the start.
Yeah.
But as time went on, he got kind of moved up a bit, and now he's like nearly like he's kind of like the top tier now. He's not champion yet, but I feel like it's gonna go there. Yeah. He is a fucking badass. I like he's all his stuff is in German, but again it's subtitled, and you can see he's just like He's kind of like what Becky is on SmackDown, kind of. That's like the best example I can give. It's like he's a legit badass. Like, he's just like, he doesn't give a fuck, and he's like, he's just cool. Lucky Kid as well is another wrestler that kind of grew on me as it went on.
Lucky Kid, who you can see in Girls Wrestling in the Button Park on the 23rd of February.
This is why I'm emphasising, like, I'm not just saying this, but they just genuinely are the best. Yeah. Absolute Andy is another lad that I love, and I love his name, Absolute Andy. Like, that, what a name.
He's such an Andy. He's an absolute Andy.
No, but it's like imagine it was any other name, like Absolute Dave. It's funny, but it's like, the thing is, Andy is but it's just because we're used to it, 'cause he's been around years. So like, even before I watched WXW, I'd heard of Absolute Andy. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a cool name, and I find it funny. But anyway, he's also a really good wrestler, and he had a match with Lucky Kid at the anniversary show, and I fucking loved it. It was so good, and I don't want to spoil too much, but I definitely recommend watching. There's lots of storylines, lots of different characters, and when I watch each show, normally I look at the card beforehand, and I'm like, right, I actually give a shit about each, outcome of each match, which is really, like, that's all I want. I don't, like, I just want to care about the winner of each match. So if promotion gets that nailed on, and also, it's a tenner a month, but it's on Vimeo. Right. As well, so you can get everything you want, but you can also go on Vimeo and watch it. So they pivot share, like, it's good, don't get me wrong, but it can be like a bit laggy and all that. Like, Vimeo, it's a better player, I feel. So I'm just throwing it out there. I think it's worth definitely checking out, at least for a month or so.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, and like, you've obviously got through a lot of it in a short amount of time.
Yeah,
so it's
over Christmas, I just binged it. Like.
Yeah, that's awesome. There you go. Check out WXW on Vimeo. In at number 3, one from SmackDown. I'll keep this nice and short. The best match I've seen this week was Rey Mysterio against Andrade Cien Almas. They're doing a lot of people are calling for a best of 7 or something between these two, and I love when they do those kind of things with guys where it's
don't spoil the result.
I won't spoil the result. I won't spoil the result. But it is worth going out of your way to watch. Like, they are doing absolutely mad shit, like stuff you used to see in the Attitude Era. Rey Mysterio can go as well as he's ever been able to go. Like, some of the shit he was pulling out is absolutely unbelievable. I won't spoil the spot, I'll tell you when, but at one stage, like, out of nowhere, he just pulls out a Canadian Destroyer. Like, but I won't spoil the spot, but it's not the way you're used to seeing a Canadian Destroyer. You'll think he's doing something else, and then it's like, how did he? Do you remember how you first felt when you watched Rey Mysterio? Yeah. But Andrade can do that shit too, so it's absolutely fantastic. And it's using, like, they're building up both guys really well. They're like kind of going back and forth and stuff like this. So I really want to see more of them. I'd be really into a best of 7 feud. It was absolutely fantastic. Again, SmackDown just doing what SmackDown does best sometimes, and they're like, we've got 20 minutes in the middle of the show, we just get 2 great wrestlers and let them have a great wrestling match. Yeah, fuck it, why not? Why make it difficult on ourselves? It's absolutely worth going out your way to see. In at number 2, though, the first mention of Finn Balor this week, because this was unbelievable. And I guess the way I wanted to speak about this is, like, I always say, especially when it comes to WWE, if you're worried your favourite guy isn't getting a push or just seems to be plodding along in the mid-card, like, if you've watched WWE for long enough, you should know that that's not the end of the world. It can all come together again. Especially, like, if your favourite guy is, like, losing to the Revival every night in, like, tag matches that don't really matter, then yeah, you should be worried. But if your favourite guy is winning a lot and, like, they still seem high on them, it can all change overnight. And it literally did for Finn Balor. They did a stupid storyline where Braun Strowman ended up attacking Baron Corbin in Vince McMahon's limousine, so Vince McMahon got pissed off and took Strowman out of the Lesnar match, which is, after what we discussed last week on the show, for the best. What was the line again that I forgot to mention?
Because I watched it and then I texted it to you. Yeah. It was something about is your ass jealous of all the crap coming out of your mouth?
Yeah, that needed to be changed. It was not good. So I love when WWE just say fuck it and just switch things up at the last minute. So they did a storyline where, like, John Cena came out and he's like, for some reason he did a ruthless aggression promo to Vince McMahon. He's like, you need to pick me for the title match because I've got ruthless aggression. And I'm like, okay, that's a reference that needed to be done. But anyway, it was cool. And then they had Drew McIntyre come out, Baron Corbin came out, and then Balor came out. And, like, you're watching it and you're like, they're not good. And most people have seen it by now because it was everywhere online yesterday. So, but they're like, they're not. They wouldn't with Balor, but he was the last out because I've been burnt by hoping Finn will get pushed before. You know, I've been hurt before. I don't want to get my hopes up. But then Vince starts saying, like, you know what, Finn? I just think you're too small. You know, these guys are beefy. They're going to face Brock Lesnar. I just don't think you have it in you. And Balor came back full of confidence, owning the promo. He's just like, yeah, wait, what do these people think? The crowd fucking go crazy for it. It's like, they're doing something. What's going on? What's going on? And then it's one of those brilliant things that I do love when they do in WWE, where it's like a story that continues through multiple segments throughout the night. So then later on, Jinder Mahal, for some reason, goes to Vince McMahon. He's like, hey, I never got my shot at Brock. And then Vince is like, oh yeah, I forgot about you. And then he's like, I'm not too sure on Balor, so you'll face him and the winner gets in. So you're like, right, Balor overcoming the odds, he beats Mahal. I'm like, they're definitely fucking doing something. Like, this is weird. They have a fatal four-way. It's a really good main event between the four lads from the promo earlier. Balor in the end hits the coup de grace on Cena of all people, pins him 1, 2, 3. Balor against fucking Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. Oh my fucking god. We've got a party in Buskers that was already going to be class because Becky's in the title match and Becky's also tipped to be in the Royal Rumble match as well. Oh my god, this is going to be class. This is unbelievable. I cannot fucking wait. Can he win it though?
Yes.
Remember last year they put 2 Japanese people as the winners? Maybe this is the year of the Irish. Maybe we're just going to win everything.
We're going to get like an Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit WrestleMania 20 moment. Like,
with Becky and Finn.
Oh my god.
Speaking of Guerrero though, because that's what I was about to mention, right? I was leaving college when David, shout out if he's listening, don't know if he is, but hi.
Good shout out.
He's coming to the party. He's got 2 tickets to
Nice.
Logo's party yesterday, so that's good.
Nice.
But he basically suggested to me that what if like Balor faces Brock, and obviously like Brock's the heavy favourite and all, but what if they do like an Eddie Guerrero No Way Out 04 with Braun as the Goldberg?
Oh. You're getting me hopes up here because if you've seen it, it feels like something's happening.
Yeah.
It feels like holy shit.
Balor
like,
versus Seth, and Seth's the favourite to win the Rumble. Balor Seth at WrestleMania.
Yeah, they're the long term. Oh my god.
Yeah, that would work.
Does Brock need the title at WrestleMania? Like Brock will probably he'll have a match, but does it need to be a title match?
No.
Would he be? I mean, would he be champion anyway if it wasn't for the Reigns thing? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like I think it's gonna happen.
Like
man.
they're doing this whole we're switching things up in WWE. We're sorry because we know it was shit like the past few months, so we want to make a splash and do something big. Putting the belt on Balor would be pretty fucking big.
And it brings it full circle. He never really got a proper shot at it again afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, he never got pinned for it. Like, it's him and Seth makes sense when you consider like
And like,
that's who he lost it against.
say what you want about Brock as well. I know he's had like lazy matches and so on, but like Brock against a small guy, like fighting his way
Oh
up,
yeah,
like
I love it.
it's like him against Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series was fucking fantastic. You know what I mean? Now you don't have like I know that was just after Daniel Bryan turned heel, so there was that element to it, which kind of meant he couldn't fully root for the underdog, but we still did. But Balor has all that. He has the crowd support. He has the underdog story.
Oh
Against
my god!
the fucking and also keep this in mind. Last thing, it's the Beast against the Demon.
What if, right? This
Balor has never lost as the Demon.
yeah, but what if, right? This is something that just dawned on me as well, right? He comes out and he's Demon Balor, and everyone's like, no way. And then Brock comes out and it's Demon Brock.
He's just crawling.
and Finn's just standing there like, fuck, I didn't think of that.
You know, it could be deadly. We could get a triple here because Jordan was announced for access for the Royal
I
Rumble.
was thinking this. I was thinking this as well. I was like,
Do you
what
think
if-
they'd throw a UK guy in?
Oh my god.
You see, the problem is, I think they would, but I think it'd be like a British Strong Style member or something.
Yeah,
But
well,
you never
Trent's
know.
not there. Only Pete and Tyler are. I think the names announced were Jordan, Pete, Tyler, Grizzled Young Vets. I think there was one more other person in the tournament.
Wait, that might have been it though. Because it was like 205 Live and NXT UK were in the same.
Yeah, they had like 4 from each thing, like 4 from NXT,
they'll
4 from
definitely have
UK.
at least one. But it'll probably be Pete though. That's the only thing. But I think it's a possibility though.
Remember they
Massive.
put Killian Dane in and he like went to like the final 5 or
Yeah.
something?
Oh man,
That was
oh
great.
my god, it could be
Killian
Devlin.
Dane's going to be in it as well. Like
That's the
It's gonna
pop.
be-
If
Oh my
Devlin-
God.
And
Oh
Sheamus will be in it. We'll just have...
Sheamus has the title match. He's in the SmackDown title match.
So
oh my god.
there actually is an Irish person in every title match. Apart from...
Rousey, Sasha. and Rusev Nakamura and the Cruiser.
Well,
There's an Irish person in a lot of matches.
No, but still, like,
There's an Irish person in the Women's Royal Rumble. There's probably an Irish person in the men's, at least one. Like, you could have Sheamus be in there as well. You could have Jordan be in there. Killian Dane is almost definitely going to be in there. Like, and we're even party when there's still on Irish people coming. It's going to be unbelievable.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't been this excited for a WWE show since the last Royal Rumble. I'm more excited for this than I have been. Like, I didn't even know how long it's been since I've been this excited for a fucking...
The Rumble is absolutely the best show.
It's
Like,
stacked.
I have a gang of people and we're all going to come to the party and I'm going to get really drunk and commentate again.
It's going to be
But it's
savage.
not even just like the fact. It's like normally you'd be like, right, it's the Royal Rumble, so you're excited enough as it is. But like I'm so excited for a Balor Brock.
Yeah.
Like I am so excited. I see with
AJ Bryan is happening as well. We're not even talking about AJ Styles against Daniel fucking Bryan.
Yeah, I don't really care about that. But like Becky versus, you see, if Becky versus Asuka, it's kind of like, I don't know, because I kind of want like Becky to just sort of win the Rumble and get, face Rousey at Main. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I was like,
Yeah.
Becky asking like, all right, whatever. But then like Balor Brock, it's like, no, like Balor, like I want him to win. I need him to win. Like there's no other option
Yeah.
here.
What if Becky's so cocky? She wins the title and the Rumble and she's just there
That's
like...
A lot of people are
That's what
saying,
I
and
Yeah.
I think it's realistic, like, as well. So, oh my god, it's going to be class, guys. We cannot wait. This is like an ad for the Rumble party. But anyway, guys,
But it's genuine. Like this isn't even like, the way there's like
It's real.
there's ad mode and
And we haven't even talked about who the surprises are. My favourite thing is going on to Paddy Power and
Yeah.
like putting my money on someone random as fuck
500
to
to
win.
1, like
Conor McGregor.
Tony Chimmel's come out and fucking like,
I tell you, I put money on Sting every year for about 7 years. Just convinced he was coming out. Like
one ad on Twitch predict that it's going to be Sting, and they're pretty good at wrestling predictions.
there
so
you go. Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
on your video.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to go through it all next week on our Rumble preview. So let's talk about the best thing from the week, also involving Finn Balor.
Yeah, I'm all hyped up now. The NXT Takeover, there was a lot of good on this, like a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah.
We talked already about Jordan and Finn. I just love that they showed that random surprise there. Like, there was no need for it. I was looking forward to Jordan and Travis Banks, but apparently they did it at the tapings the next day.
Right.
So that's cool. We still get that match. But like, I just feel it helped elevate the whole show by having someone of Balor's stature, but then it made complete sense as well because like Jordan's doing this like shitty little heel, and then it's like, oh well, we're going to get your big brother out to knock some sense into you.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was just such a moment as well. Like, it was fantastic.
I tell you, I like Jordan was just fantastic selling this like.
But also, like, as well, it was cool. Now, we know that he is on par with Balor, but it was like the world get to see, like, they. Like, he just hangs with them. Like, they're equals. They're equals. Like, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was great.
Also love the opener, Mustache Mountain and Grizzled Young Vets. I was really surprised at the finish. I really thought Mustache Mountain were taking it home.
Yeah.
But it was just a fantastic match. Like, and it's just, I think Trent Seven is just the best lad at taking heat. Like, he's just the best lad for garnering sympathy.
Yeah.
And like, then when Tyler comes with the hot tag, it's just, they're perfect. Like,
Yeah.
and my other highlight from it was I actually really liked the main event as well. And I really love the women's match. I know not a lot of people did online or, thought it could have been better. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the reaction Tony got, considering she's had such a shitty few weeks. Like, it was very genuine that she was happy to be there, and genuine people cheering for her and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes now. Hopefully it's a UK girl that steps up now.
Yeah.
And they kind of keep the title more in-house. I really like Rhea Ripley, but I think she can go straight back to NXT America and like go be the star of that division. So hopefully now they build another girl from the UK.
It'd be interesting. But let's not bury the lead. There's one moment that got everyone talking at the very end of the show.
Yes. The debut of Water. I love how I was just making fun of that meme. It's such an iconic moment, and like people are just making water jokes about it because of where he stood. Yeah, I mean, I'd heard rumblings, and when people on Twitter like, oh, guess who was spotted in Blackpool today, and I was like, but I want the moment. And the music hits, and you get the moment anyway. And the fact that it's his usual music as well, I was like, this is perfect. And like, just the stare off. You know, Brock and Braun Strowman should go back and watch how to do a stare off from these lads and then leave. Yeah, it's just fantastic. I can't believe that they're going with that already.
Yeah, it was so perfect as well because it was just the timing of it all where they did the signature at the end and it's like, right, it's the end of the show, but you know the way with NXT takeovers, it's specifically, it's like stop watching when it goes to black and you are waiting for something else, but then like it just kept going on and on after the signature, and then it's just like the crowd goes insane, and it was just and it's like, he's here. I love the fact they didn't touch. I love the fact there was none of that. I love the fact there was a bit of mutual respect because it's like at the start of the story. You know, I don't have Walter come out and absolutely beat.
But you know what? They still had Walter look like a beast because did you see that boot he hit Joe Coffey in the face?
Yes. Have you seen there's this is no spoilers, but like they had him wrestle on the tapings and there's just one clip of a chop out there. Like the crowd are just like, shut the fuck up. Oh! It was fantastic. Like Walter in WWE, it just makes sense, and it's great as well because like last week you were talking about concerns with NXT, and it was like, you know what, takeovers tend to be different from the TV show. You know, let's give them a chance. Let's see if they can pull it out. They absolutely did. Like they lit that brand on fire with that show, and I was delighted to see it because look what it can be. Like I wouldn't care if the NXT TV show every week wasn't, you know, if it was just like regular NXT where it's like you can probably miss this and just watch Takeover. It's like just get the highlights on YouTube or whatever. But if we get that once every few months, that's fucking fantastic. I'm delighted with that. Walter Pete Dunne at the next show, like more than likely. And then think about this: Walter, if he's still a face and he beats Pete Dunne for the belt, which Pete Dunne's probably due, there's a pretty big heel waiting in the ranks who has a pretty big history with Walter that like got a lot of buzz online, so WWE probably saw it. I'm just saying we could get Walter Jordan Devlin.
Do you think Walter would still be a face though, like after beating Pete Dunne and facing Pete Dunne? And
I think so.
I think they committed to it, because they didn't have him beat him up. They didn't. They made a point of saying like they have a plan there, where it's like we're going to let you be an absolute beast, and they'll probably just let the fans decide.
My predictions were shot on, by the way. How did you go on?
I can't remember. I haven't done it. Apologies, guys. It's been a busy week. I haven't got the predictions correct.
You can skip it. It's fine. We'll move on to Rumble.
Anyway, guys, that's the best from the in-ring. What a week it's been. But anyway, moving on, because we are just 11 days away from this. It's the Low Blows equivalent of the Catalina wine mixer.
The fucking Catalina wine mixer.
The fucking Royal Rumble party. Join us in Buskers on the Ball for the craziest night of the wrestling calendar and experience not one, but 2 Royal Rumble matches in an unbelievable atmosphere. Party starts from 6 p.m. with pre-show entertainment including NXT Phoenix in full, the return of WWE Karaoke, the 2nd annual Pool Rumble, retro gaming, and much more. No Temple Bar prices on booze and food served until late. Don't waste your one Royal Rumble a year sitting at home alone. Get tickets now on eventbrite.ie. In groups of 2 or over, get a table automatically booked pending availability. Low Blows. For 7 years, redefining fandom. The Royal Rumble, it's creeping up on us, guys. Like it's flew in this year, especially with so many distractions of Wrestle Kingdom the week before and then NXT last week. I don't think a lot of people realise Sunday week is the Rumble, lads. It's going to be class. We've spoken about the card already. Let's speak about the night itself. From 6 p.m. we'll have NXT Phoenix airing. We're going to have Tomassso Ciampa against Aleister Black, Shayna Baszler against Bianca Belair, we spoke about earlier. Undisputed Era against War Raiders. They're the matches announced. We're going to air that in full. If you haven't watched it or you want to like save yourself for the Sunday to do the full night, start from 6 p.m. We're going to have 8 p.m. It's going to be great. We're going to have WWE Karaoke returning. I've got an announcement to make. Because we're going to have a very special edition of Queen versus Keen at the Royal Rumble. I'm going to be judging your judging skills. I'm going to be judging you judging. because you're going to be two of the judges that are going to be for the karaoke. So guys, get thinking about what WWE theme song you want to sing. Placing the Hall of Fame on the line. Free drink. It's going to be great crack. Get creative with it as well. Like, you know, if you come out and sing Real American, well, like, you'll probably be in the final. But if you come out and do something creative, it always gets extra points with the judges. So get thinking about your karaoke entry, guys. We'll also have the Pool Rumble is back, and we're going to be going all out. There was one of the highlights of the Royal Rumble party last year, but we only had like a week to plan it because it was something we came to very late in the day. It started the whole Queen versus Cian rivalry, actually.
You're not mad though when you think about it, like that's how it all started.
Like,
It's
a real Royal Rumble except with pool, guys. So if you don't know the Pool Rumble, basically 30 people, you enter the Pool Rumble. You guys play it yourselves. We've 30 people enter. You enter if you like in order from 1 to 30. It's by raffle if you want to play along, and then your raffle ticket gets called out. You come on down. We're hoping to have a few surprise entries as well get involved, like, because it's a Rumble. You have to have surprise entries. We're also, so then you come on down. If you miss a shot, you're over the top rope and you're out. The last person standing who keeps hitting their shots wins the Pool Rumble and gets a Low Blows title shot at WrestleMania. So there you go, guys. We'll be debuting a new DJ, by the way. I'm stepping down from the DJing game because like the parties have got so crazy that we need someone else. So Sabotage is, if you know Sabotage in Fibbers, we have Dan Cullen, the DJ there, who's going to be coming along. Proper DJ, proper musician and so on. So we're going to be mixing it up. He's really good, so we're going to get him in. Also, and then we'll have the Rumble Live. We've already told you how excited we are for that. It's going to be class. It's the Royal Rumble, which is already great. But with the Balor and Becky matches and moments promised and AJ Bryan and everything else, 2 Royal Rumble matches surrounded by a bunch of locked Irish people. It's going to be one of the best nights of the year, guys. Get onto eventbrite.ie now. Get your tickets. Get it sorted. It's going to be fucking class. This is can't miss. This will probably be one of the best Rumble. Like, this could be the best Rumble party ever. Like, and we have great Rumble parties. Like, it said it in the ad. The fucking Royal Rumble party. This is going to be amazing, so get on it. But guys, anyway, time for our main event of the show. It's just time to get, well, not creepy, time to get appropriate, because ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Queen versus King. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-hosts, our good friends, but they are even better enemies. Queen versus Cian is back, where we pit them against each other every week in a series of wrestling-related challenges. Last week, Katie absolutely stormed into a lead by being able to plug. She is 6'5" ahead now. Corporate Cian needs to pull it back, or he is going to be staring into WrestleMania season with a deficit. Guys, I know you're doing. You're actually collabing. In a way for a future Corporate Cian video. Would you like to explain?
Yeah, it was meant to be a past Corporate Cian video. It was meant to be on Tuesday, but I can't fuck it up all the time. It's proper depressing. I have it 97% done. So I'm hoping I get it out tomorrow, but I'm out late out of college, so I don't know. But it'll be definitely this week. Yeah, basically we're exploring the mad world that is Katie Harvey's DMs. So it's gonna be interesting.
The best part is he put the teaser on Twitter. I got a message from Justy 10 seconds later. My name better not come up in that fucking video. And I was like, you've never sent me anything inappropriate. And he's like, yeah, well. All right.
Like, how far back did these DMs go? Have you got a lot of people that are nervous? Have you got a lot of people that, like, you've noticed are, like, reaching out to you, being, like, really friendly, like, hey there?
No one's actually. I didn't send them any of the ones of people I know or people, like, who would be known.
I wouldn't use it anyway because I don't want to get shanked. So like, John Kelly messaged me being like, "Don't fucking."
Nervous people are getting about it.
Yeah, like literally, like no one has any reason to be nervous. It's like, are they even Irish? I don't even think like the people.
No, I don't think any.
I don't think any of them are Irish. So you're all right. Like,
I didn't send any that like Irish people have sent me or fans have sent me like that.
Yeah, you don't really want to like, yeah.
I don't
don't
make
be too bad.
Yeah.
But also, oh my god, what was I going to say? My brain's gone to sleep.
And I get a lot of genuine friendly DMs, you know,
yeah.
like, so say when I was out injured asking how I am, or like just saying like, oh, great match last night or something.
How she is.
Like, I do get a lot of lovely genuine messages, so I haven't said, I've just sent the weird or creepy ones.
So don't worry, guys. You're probably not in it. Probably.
What's gas is like people like snitching on themselves by going, I don't know.
Oh, brilliant. I cannot wait for that video. That's worth it. I'm glad it didn't go quicker because it's worth building up to. But guys, since you're now both experts in like what inappropriate DMs to send professional wrestlers are, what your challenge is for this week, I asked you both to come up with, to show them how it's done, and come up with appropriate DMs to send a wrestler of your choosing that you particularly like and want to reach out to, and show people how it's done. So you can pick whatever wrestler you want, you can do whatever you want, but you will be judged and you will be scored on it. So, Katie, do you want to go first?
Sure.
All right.
So, you know, I've just gone with a tried and tested method that people have tried with me,
Right.
just to see if it will work. So, I'm going to slide into big sexy Kevin Nash's DMs.
Yes.
First message is just hi, you know, just to break the ice.
Yeah.
Second message, hi. Third message, can I ask you a question? Fourth message, how tall are you? Fifth message, hi. Then I'll go with a how are you again, just in case he didn't get the first one. But then I'm going to sweeten it up and be like, hey, baby. Just so he knows I'm interested. Then I'm going to go, how are you, Kevin? Just in case he doesn't want to be objectified. Then I'm going to ask him, would he be interested in coming to Chile to do a wrestling match with me? I'm going to offer to pay his expenses. And then I'm going to ask him when he eventually, either just before he blocks me, asks me, well, look, if you don't want to come over and wrestle me, can I just have a picture of your feet? Because, I mean, what do we think a 7-foot man's feet look like?
There you go.
I'd say they are the real big sexy.
Strong entry from Katie Harvey. A lot to live up to there, King. Keen, you need to get the win back, desperately.
Right. So I messaged a wrestler I'm a big fan of. I'm not going to name them. I know. I'll name them afterwards. You know what I mean? Maybe. Possibly. Right. So this is a message that I sent. I think it probably worked out well. I'm not the best at reading people, but I feel like it worked out well. So here goes nothing, I suppose. First I said, hey. Then I said, hi. How are you, Katie? How old are you? How tall are you? Hi. How are you? Just in case like the first 6 messages were just don't know. Hi. How are you? Picture of your feet, please. Hi. How are you? Hi. 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 Hey. I said hey instead of hi just to switch things up. And then I tried to send it again, but it was like, you can't message this person any longer. But I'm assuming that's just like bants, you know what I mean? Like, we have good bants. So, like, yeah, no, I'm not going to name what wrestler that was, but, like, we do, you know, I feel like it was a success. I think, you know, she's aware of my existence.
Right.
And at the end of the day, before that, was she aware of my existence? Don't think so.
There
so,
you go.
Yeah, I mean, I see that as a straight win for me.
You know what? I'm going to give it to Katie Harvey again. I think you both kind of went for the same angle. I did like the twist in yours. I did like it.
What twist are you talking about?
I just felt it's one of those where it's like, do you know in rap battles, like where if you go
I'm
second...
going to make you look like James Ellsworth.
If you go second... Should have said that. If you go second in rap battles, you usually win. I feel if you go for the same joke, you probably want to go first. Katie, go.
I'll let you know what Kevin says next week.
7-5. We will update you on that. In the meantime, you can DM Katie Harvey, and if you want to be featured on a future Corporate Keen video, guys. Katie, can we see you anywhere in the next while?
We got Contenders on Saturday. Or Sunday. Me, Raven Creed, and Amy Alonzi versus Avita Scott, Valkyrie, and Debbie Keitel.
Oh, nice.
We will have our unicorn with us. He is out of hospital. He has almost recovered from Debbie's vicious attack.
Okay.
And we will make her pay.
Do you think you're going to win?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We're unicorn vengeance. We're the royal flying unicorns from hell. That's what Raven Creed has dubbed our team.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I actually hope you win for a change. That's great.
Keen, who do you think's going to win?
I actually do think Katie's team's going to win.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
there you go. Shocker. Keen, you have that video to cover.
Yeah, so I went 2 Tuesdays out uploading at the worst possible time. One video I only need to edit, but it kind of like moved maker kept fucking up. So I'm going to try have that out for next Tuesday, which probably won't happen. Tomorrow, I'm hoping tomorrow, if not then Friday, is the video. It's the Katie video.
The one you've been waiting for, guys. So check it out. Subscribe to Corporate Keen on YouTube. We'll be back with a big Royal Rumble preview next week on Low Blows. This week on the Low Blows Network, you've got Paddy's New York coming up, and you've got a new episode of Talk Nerdy to Me on Friday. But until next week, for Rick Nash, for Katie Harvey, Corporate Keen, that's the bottom line, because Low Blows said so.